Hello and welcome to this video where we have come into dictionary, which is a data structure in Python that is very useful and you will use it throughout your Python journey. In dictionaries, you store the data in key and value pairs. So if you come from other languages, you might have heard of hash maps, or you may have heard of JSON objects as well. So in Python, there's a dictionary, which is really interesting. So let's go into Studio Code. So here I am in Visual Studio Code, and you can see that this is an empty folder, and you should definitely work in a Git and GitHub repository so that you version control your code. So I will create a virtual environment, uvvnv, and source.then bin activate. Note that if you already have a virtual environment, then you shouldn't do this. Instead, just do this if you don't have a virtual environment. You should activate the virtual environment, no matter if you already have one or you're just creating a new one. Activating using venv/bin/activate. In Windows, it's scripts instead, right? And I advise you that you use git bash when you're working with a Windows terminal. Okay, so now let's install uv pip install ipykernel. Okay, so now I will do touch dictionary.ipnb. And then I will close down my terminal as it has served its purpose. Okay, choose the virtual environment here, and here I choose write dictionary, and then we change this to Python, and let's start. So let's create a dictionary, and a dictionary is basically key and value pairs. So we have keys that are mapping to specific values. So for example, we have person, I could have name, should I put age? Yeah, I can put age as well. And the thing with age is that it changes all the time. So next time when this is outdated in a short while, I'm not this young anymore, I think. I work as a teacher, pet, rabbit. Yeah, I have a rabbit as a pet. What else? We can have interest is a list, and then I could have math, I could have Python, for example, we could have yoga. Okay, so how did I do this? I did Shift Alt F to auto format it. Then it requires that you have black installed as a extension here. Okay, no matter, this is how you create a dictionary. And this dictionary, it has a few things. So we have name is a string, so it's a float, and work is a string, pet is a string, interest is a list of strings. Okay, great. What could we do more? We could do, for example, we could do person to see the wrapper of it, and you can see there's a curly braces here, and this is how Python represents the dictionary. You could create the dictionary with curly braces directly. So this is a dictionary, empty set in the beginning, and then for example x, we could have x equals 23, and then y as a string equals to 34.2, and this could be coordinates, for example. So this is a dictionary as well, coordinates. And as you can see, it's a dictionary. And if you type of coordinates, it's a dict. And if you take type of person, this is also a dict, right? And we can type out person to check out the person's keys. So keys, you get all the keys. And then you can have person.values. And you get a dictionary of all the values. So by doing this, you could see that, we can actually loop through this dictionary. So how to do that? We can do that soon, but instead we will start with just doing person of. So you get a specific value. So I can get, for example, name, and you can see this is Kokshan. You can do person of, let's see, pets, and this is a rabbit, and we can do actually person.get as well. And if we do get, what can we take? For example, I can take get. Did I put in interest, right? Interest. Let's see, interests like this. And you can see that we get values here. We get the values. However, did you see that I misspelled it with interest? And you can see I didn't get anything, and that is the way it is when you use the .get method, because it returns none. So if you take, for example, type of this one, you can see that it's a none type because it returns a none object. If, for example, the person of interest, you can see that we get a key error, right? But when doing .get, you get none as a default. And that is pretty awesome. So you should know that there's a get method. Okay, so let's loop through this dictionary. So for key in person, and then we can do print key, and you can see, we get all the keys here, right? So if you get all the keys, then you might think, yeah, it's very simple. I just copy this one, and we could do, for example, key, person of key. And you can see, yes, let's see, let's do a comma here again, and then let's do a string here. Okay. Not really nicely formatted, but still fine. You can see here we get a key, each of the keys, and we get person of the keys. So person of name, we get person of age, we get 34.9, etc. However, there's a nicer way to do this. So you can do for key person dot items, and you can see this is the dict items. So this one, you can see that we have a list of tuples, and then you can see name goes with coction, age goes with 34.9, etc. Work goes with teacher, and then we can simply loop this. So for key comma value equals to in person dot items print f string key, let's see, key colon value, like this. Perfect. We could do colon, maybe, oh no, not 50. Yeah, that is, I want to have other side like this, but not 50, that's way too much. 20. Okay, this, and I will remove the colon. Okay, yeah. 15. Okay, for my OCD. Let's see, what else can we do? You could do, I've shown you how to loop through. I have done some other example in my lecture note, which you can look at. However, let's check this one. This is quite interesting. Let's check the dictionary comprehension. So let's try this out. So you have this. I want to create my grades with different limits. So create dictionary comprehension, create grades with different limits. So this is what I want to do. In order to do that, so I want to do, for example, F has less than 10, and then E should have 10 to 20, and then D should have 20 to 30 in score, and C 40 to 50, etc. So different types of scores, that's my idea. So what I can do is that I do grade colon I times 10 for I, comma, grade in enumerate. Remember that strings are a list of characters, and if it's a list of characters, or a sequence of characters, we can iterate through the sequence of characters. So we can iterate through F, B, D, C, B, A, and see what we get. We get the limits. So we get F0, E10, D20, C30, etc. And I is getting like from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So if we have less scores than the limit for E, which is 10, then we will get F. That is the idea. Okay, so here we can put this as grade limit. And then we can generate scores, import random as R&D, and we can do generate scores, number of scores, and we do R&D.seed 42, this means that we'll get same values each time. So we make it deterministic for this random generator. So here I will use a list comprehension rnd.randint between 0 and 60 for underscore in range number score. So underscore, this underscore means that it's a convention when you don't want to use this iteration variable. So then since I don't use it, I just want to loop it this number of times. So then I just put it as underscore. And so these are the scores, and we can return the scores, or we can just return it simply like this. Okay, so then I can generate scores. For example, if I choose 10, then I get 10 values between 0 and 60. If I choose 20, you can see we get so many scores. Okay, I could have done this with NumPy directly, but just to show you that using list comprehension is also possible with random. So then let's now loop through to do this grade count. So we can do grade count equals to key of 0 for key in grade limit. Okay, what does this mean? Grade count, so now you see that we get 0 for each, right? And then the idea is that I want to increment for each time that the score gets into the right limit. That is the idea. Okay, so let's do that. So for score in scores, for grade comma limit in grade limit dot items. Scores is not defined, right? Because we haven't. We can call this scores here. Scores equals to this one, 30 scores. Okay, yeah. Let me print here so it doesn't look so messy. Okay, like this. Okay, so now I have a lot of scores, and now I want to loop. So I loop through all the scores, and then I iterate through grade comma limit. So then each of the grade and the limit, which was before like 10, 0, 10, 20, etc. Right? So now, if limit less than equals to score less than limit plus 10. And then what I do is grade count of grade plus equals 1. That's it. And now I can print SG grade count like this. Perfect. Now you can see we have 9F, 6E, etc. So now you have some statistics. Okay. Yes, now you've seen me working with dictionary, and this was really fun. This is a really good data structure to learn and master. It's super versatile what you can do with it, and it's really nice to store data in a structured way that you can reuse later on. So I advise you that you use Git and GitHub to version control this code and push it up to your GitHub. So thank you for watching this video on dictionary, and see you in the next video. Bye.